Howdy y'all, this is Texas Gaming Industries here, and welcome to episode 23, part 2 of my Let's Play at Transport Fever 2. In the previous episode, we arrived on the island of Ceylon, and began ourselves with a small little transportation operation, operating some passenger lines, and now operating some freight lines to serve the local cinnamon plantations, so the cinnamon can be brought down to the auction house. And in this episode, I think we might be able to expand to other commodities very, very soon. As long as the cinnamon is brought in and my passengers are in good nick, I think everything should be a-okay. Speaking of which, some of my screens are actually looking pretty good. Though, I wonder, could I get a color similar to the smoke box? Let's see. Okay, this color will do, but that means I'll have to switch out my passenger wagons. Well, I mean my coaches. $90,000 British pounds. There we go. Now that looks a lot better. Just gonna remember to change that color to basically the third gray, the color third from option black. That includes this tank engine as well. Let's see. Saddle tank engine, this color. There we go. Surprising to say, there's a lot of people wanting to ride on my express passenger trains. And there's still tons of cinnamon waiting to be picked up. And somehow, based on the game's speed, I think we might be able to get a whole bunch of these commodities loaded up. 49 units? Okay, I think I forgot to basically set full load to 10 minutes on that. But that's fine. As long as we're basically able to bring the cinnamon to the port, it should be alright. Because I think this industry will grow eventually the more cinnamon I transport. We already delivered our first 50 passengers, which is great. Our horse-drawn carriage system is basically doing pretty well. Our express train has came in with a nice 384,000 pounds. This first cinnamon arrives into the city. £1.31 million. That's actually a pretty good amount. As for the ferry, there's already 27 people on board the ferry, which is great. The ferry will basically continue to deliver people across the bay. Well, between these two cities. I'm planning to operate another express train. Actually, scratch that. This is gonna basically be a ferry station. Of course, I'll have to add this, and add 2 landings here for my ships. Let's see. Since we're going to operate 2 ferries, we're just going to call this Ferry Service A. You will be stopping on port platform 2. This one you will This will be the same. ferry service B. However, I'll need a passenger service to serve the town, so we can connect to the main line and access the other trains in the region. That's where the little generic UK halt will be used. It's only 120 meters long, but that is totally fine for a small passenger station on the main line. Well, far from the main line. We'll just need to add... Ooh. I do not want that color. You can actually choose on which trim you want on this mod. I'm going with red. And I'm adding at least some halts beside the track. And I'll need some narrow steps to make it easier for my passengers to get onto the platform. The guard will basically take the passengers' tickets. We'll check for tickets. Well, passengers will pay for a ride on the train, since there's no ticket booth. In fact, I'm actually going to modify this passenger station with another set of platform pieces. Or on second thought, no. Laying these tracks is not as easy as you think. There's so much logistics in building a proper railroad line. Well, railway. This road also needs to be replaced because I need my tracks to be flat. Sure, it will disrupt the connection between the two communities, but at least it's only temporary. Let's see. There we go. Alright, now that the station is connected, we'll just basically add the track that's for the local trains onto the main again. Stone viaduct, as usual. Double slip switch. .40-mile-an-hour curve. But that's fine because this is gonna be one of the few branch lines that I'll be operating on this map. Alright, the new branch line is set. We're just gonna use the generic UK signals for these tracks that lead to a branch line. Or, again, for serving a rural industry. Let's see. Let's see. Set that to one way. There we go. Same as on the other side. Okay. Branch line trains will be white. So this will be branch line service A. And now, let's see, what engine will I assign this new branch line to? Might as well try this MIDI 312 Lador tank engine for the service. It only goes 34 miles an hour, but it basically does its job. Alright. It doesn't have a number, but it's just one of these contractor
Kandy was the
engines.
last capital of the ancient kings era of Sri Lanka and is still one of the biggest and most important cities in the country. The city lies in the midst of hills in the Kandy Plateau, which crosses an area of tropical plantations, mainly coffee. The British government believes that a railway line between Colombo and Kandy would be a good starting point for the new transport network. Build a railway between Colombo and Kandy.
Which we'll basically get to eventually. But, however, there's something special that's going on. We found gold. We need to transport it to Colombo immediately. But the thing is, however, these waters are not navigatable for larger ships. Meaning, if we try to send like a large ship down this water, it's not going to basically get through. So we'll have to find some place on where it can be dropped off. Okay, let's see.
Ceylon is one of the biggest coffee producers in the world. However, the plantations are located in the mountainous inland, and getting the crops to the ocean is very time consuming. Build a reliable transport network and transport large quantities of coffee beans to the auction house in Colombo.
Well, we're actually going to get started by delivering coffee. As you can see, there are a lot of these coffee plantations around. However, there's only a handful of places on the map that produce this coffee. These being these factories located nearby. If we deliver coffee berries to them, they'll produce coffee beans. Anyways, we need to basically start transporting commodities by ship because I have a feeling that we need all the gold we can get. It's only going to be for a limited time, of course, by the sound of it. Let's see. Alright. So, here's the game plan. There'll be a large depot at the end of the map, which will be near this bay of water, and it's gonna be filled. Gonna have one slot for a ship delivering the gold ore to the auction house. All the rest of it is basically gonna be delivered on its own. No, what am I saying? I'm trying to get the gold ore down to this dock, just unload it there, and then just have another ship pick up the load and take it down to the Colombo auction house. These lines are only going to be temporary anyway, so we're just going to set them up for now, and once the gold is completely taken away, we'll basically we'll just get rid of these routes and just focus on getting the railway finished. the mainline objective is not going to be too difficult. Let me see. Okay, I can basically place one small cargo ship. Huh. It fits in that spot perfectly. Okay. It will have a full load, and it's gonna take, and it's gonna wait until it is completely loaded up. Now then, due to the nature of the rivers, we'll have to use something a little unique. We'll be using these paddle boats, so to speak. Each of these lines traveling up a river will have 2 of each. That way, 80 units of gold can be brought down by those. And for the larger ones, these, let's see. Huh. The T-Clipper does not have room for gold ore, so the only one that can carry gold is the Wilhelm I, which is totally fine. They may not have noise, but look at that. Little paddle boats. Never thought I'd ever see one of these. My army of paddle boats and a little Wilhelm I traveling to pick up their first loads of gold. Which fortunately is starting to happen right now. The shipment is going up, and each one of them are ready to basically hand over the gold. Or at least not yet, because one of these roads is not connected to the gold, to this gold deposit. There we go. I just had to get that done. Now they will be able to pick up the gold, bring it down to the port, it will be unloaded, and then one of my ships will then take the gold away. Speaking of which, 21 passengers already for this commuter train? Well, no, not a commuter train, for this branch line service, I'm surprised. Oh, great. This road is not good enough. I'll have to delete the track, repave the road, and re-add the track again. What? How is it causing that? Maybe it's if I just place the track over it, maybe it will not create that odd looking shape. Oh. Oh. No wonder. Quite surprised. Well, we're just gonna keep the cinnamon deliveries up for now. Because I feel like those cinnamon trains are gonna make us a pretty good profit. And hopefully enough, we'll receive some new vehicles within time. Alright, let's see. His last delivery made about 1.28 million pounds. The last delivery it made over 1.31 million pounds. So, safe to say, we're delivering quite a lot of cinnamon into Colombo. And we're making ourselves quite a pretty penny. Let's see. The paddle boats are unexpected steam whistles for the win, as this paddle boat actually has a steam-powered whistle, despite the fact it does not have an engine. Well, whatever the case, at least now with the paddle boats, gold can now basically be picked up. It'll be dropped off here, and the large Wilhelm I will bring it over to the Colombo auction house. Thankfully, we got 5 years to complete this task, and if everything goes well, we should basically earn ourselves a medal for completing this special bonus task. Well, I'm happy to say that we're actually doing pretty alright so far. There's even people riding on ferry service B, and it's actually making a bit of a profit now. Who knew? But I think this will be a good ending point for today's episode. So, if you enjoyed this episode of my Let's Play at Transport Fever 2, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to Texas Gaming Industries for new video uploads every Friday or Saturday, depending on my outside schedule. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye!